All right, so what is that?
When I wasn't here today.
Okay,
Hey,
thank you.
Mom.
There you go. Hey, Mom, that's it. All right.
We got a bunch of news topics today. Hey, what's up, guys? Sarah's here. We got a bunch of news topics today. So the first topic comes from Jesse.
Hold it. All right. So here's one of the other things about the state test that frustrated me. So the very first year of this new Common Core test, boys, very first year, new Common Core test, we've never seen it before. It's brand spanking new. They didn't give us any sample tests. They did give us some sample questions, which was nice, but they didn't give us any actual physical tests, nothing to see what it would look like altogether. What they did was they gave us a list of topics, and they said, make sure you cover these topics, which we did to the best of our ability, but when you've never had a test before, you don't exactly know what kind of questions to prepare your kids with. And then, you know, if you don't prepare your kids, then your kids do really badly, and the kids feel terrible. And you feel terrible that you could not have done more to help the kids. So, it's a lose-lose all the way around, and it's a really unfortunate thing. Well, I'm kind of stumbling around with words here while I change my battery. So, lo and behold, it's the very first day of the test, and I walk in, and I want to see what's on the test. So you can't proctor your own student's test, which is very understandable. So I walk in, and I'm not even proctoring at the time, and I go take a look at the test, and I open it up. And on the first day, there were like 22 or 23, maybe 27 or 28 questions, whatever it was. And I'm looking at the questions. 7 of the questions were about scientific notation. I'm going, what? The whole year's worth of work? And 7 of the 22 or 23 questions are all about scientific notation? What happened to all the other stuff we were supposed to teach? Such an emphasis on scientific notation. So here we are today, and we've been learning about laws of exponents, and we've been learning about integers and so on and so forth, and exponents.
Yeah.
And now we're ready to do scientific notation. And everything that we've done up until now has led up to this moment so that we would be better able to understand scientific notation. So one last time, the do it is going to be made up of this dominant stuff. And then we're going to start taking a little less of this and a little more scientific notation. In the meanwhile, what's -9 plus 2?
Negative.
-7, right?
I'm in the wrong one.
Okay. What's -8 minus -4?
Negative 4.
Good. 4 times -4?
Negative 16.
Good. This is today's sheet, I believe.
Yes.
Oh, you guys have 7A.
That's why I
Okay.
said negative 2.
Hold it. Excuse me, I will find 7A.
I was like negative 2.
All right, so 7A you said.
My paper out. Yes. Do it. Yes.
All right, I'm at a little bit of a loss right here because I can't seem to find 7A on my computer, which means it's on the other computer. But it's not a problem. Excuse me. Excuse me. But what I can do is I can write the questions up on the board. So I will do that instead, and I'll just grab one of these sheets over here. Okay, so. Oh, one of the sheets from the back.
Oh, you can have mine.
No, I'll grab one.
But mine's complete.
That's all right.
Okay.
Guys, what's with the lines up? Michael's turn, face forward. Jonathan, what are we doing? Turn face forward. Ahem. Now, first question says -4 plus 2. What is -4 plus 2?
-2.
2. Next one, -8 minus -3.
-5.
Good. Next one, 7 times -4.
-28.
Next one, 9 squared.
81.
Next one, -9 squared.
-81.
Good. Next one, -9.
81.
Good. Next one, -1 cubed. What is it? -1.
-1.
Up here, simplify -4x squared times -3x to the 7th. Now, remember the rule is to multiply coefficients. What's a coefficient again? Number in front of the variables. Good. Multiply coefficients, add exponents. So what do I get? 12.
9.
X to the 9th. Good. Not x9, x to the 9th. And next one, 24, x to the 7th, y to the 3rd, over 8, x to the 5th, y to the 3rd. And we said this was a little tricky for kids. Everybody, what do we get?
3x to the 12, y to the 6.
It's 3x squared.
Oh, yeah.
When you're dividing, you subtract exponents. Multiplying, you add them, and that makes sense because adding and multiplying are kind of sister operations in a way. And then when you're dividing, you subtract them. Letter C, 2n to the 4th. This is very tricky for lots and lots and lots of kids. And the reason it can be so tricky is because you have to remember that since everything is in the parenthesis or the package, both the n to the 4th and the 2 are being raised to the 4th power. Everything in that package. That's why, by the way, I like to use the word package instead of parentheses. Because when you pick up a package, you pick up everything in the package. And when you have a package and you raise it to the 4th, you raise everything in the package to the 4th. 2 to the 4th, 16, not 8, 2 to the 3rd is 8.
I said nothing.
And then n to the 4th is n to the 16th.
Hey,
Okay.
Smart.
All right, so, next up. Apparently what I did was I made up an extra sheet to talk about area and volume again, and we're gonna get more into scientific notation, I guess, on Monday. But for now, we'll work with this. It says in the space below, draw a rectangle that has a length of 4n and a width of 7n. So, 4n, 7n. All right, there's my rectangle. Now, write an expression for the area of that rectangle. This is very much like what we did yesterday in class. Write an expression for the area of that rectangle. Joe, you are on, I believe it's number 4 now.
Yeah.
And you're only on week 2. Yeah, just means that, you know, pretty soon you'll be saying, can I go potty? And I'll be saying, oh, Joe, man, I'm sorry. Okay, so, can someone remind me of how we find the area of a rectangle? Go ahead. Length times width, very good. So, if I look at the length and width of this particular figure, it's gonna be 4n times 7n. And now I'm gonna multiply coefficients, add exponents. What is 4 times 7? 28. And now, remember, there's really a 1 here, really a 1 here. I don't want to have to keep writing these ones, but for now, it's a good reminder. What's n to the 1 times n to the 1?
2n.
N to the 2. Don't say 2n, that means the coefficient goes in front, okay? So n squared, 28n squared is the correct answer. Any questions?
No.
Good. All right, so let's turn the page. And you guys do the next 2 questions on the top half of the page. And I will do them as well.
Okay, don't worry.
If you want to talk to the person next to you and you can talk about math, then you can feel free to do so.
What's up, guys? How do we do this question?
Hey, focus.
Okay, I'm done.
Why are you using that? We're good. I have this whole big bag of calculators like that for you guys in the back that you'll get in a couple of chapters. But for now, we work mentally.
I'm a good mentally.
Mentally. That's good. We'll make you better mentally.
Unless something we don't.
Okay, now we said area is length times width. So here, it's going to be 15 feet or 15 FTs. Because it doesn't matter if that's a variable or if it's a unit, it's the same, it's treated the same exact way. So what's 15 times 7? 105. And what's feet times feet? Feet squared. Cubed would be if there were 3 of them. Okay? So it's 105 square feet would be the area of that situation. The next one is a square. Each side is 9 meters. Now we know the formula for area of a square is length times width. In this case, the length is 9 meters. The width is 9 meters. And what's 9m, or 9 meters, times 9m, or 9 meters? What do we get?
81m squared.
Right, which we could interpret as like a variable, add the exponents, 1 and 1, or we could say that's like 81 square meters, okay? All right, so we're looking good as far as all of that goes. What would be the area, we're on number 4 now, of a square whose side is 5w squared? The area of a square whose side is 5w squared. Remember, I would focus on how do you find the area of a square. How do you find the area of a square again? Length times width. And in a square, the length and the width are the same exact thing. Josh, what do you think?
I think it's 25 W for feet.
Yeah.
25 W before.
Okay.
That's it. So I'm gonna do 5W squared times 5W squared. 5 times 5 is 25. Add the exponents, W to the 4th. Manny?
Why didn't you add feet into it?
Because it's kind of like the questioner's prerogative. We can include the units, or we can not include the units. It's totally up to us. So sometimes I might ask you a question like, what is the area of a square whose side measures 5? Would you say 25? Or I could say 5 meters, and then you would say 25m squared, or meters squared. So it's totally up to you how, or to the person making the question, how they want to ask it. Okay? Ava, question?
I was gonna say Manning asked why do you not have to add the feet, and does that also count on the final, or will they just?
Well, first thing is, typically on the final, and this is something that they do a lot of now that they used to never do to kids, so it's actually a little easier. They give you the question, and then they leave you a blank for the answer, and at the end of the blank, they put feet squared for you.
Really?
Yeah, they do that a lot nowadays.
Yeah,
Okay?
they did.
So, I wouldn't worry overly too much about that. You'll see questions between now and then on the homework and stuff that'll give you a good feel for what's expected. Okay? All right, so the next one is to talk about volume. By the way, some people have a really hard time drawing a cube. Let me show you, or a prism, rectangular prism. Let me show you how to draw a prism. It's really easy. Everybody on your paper start with a rectangle.
Okay. I really did.
Everybody's good at drawing rectangles.
I messed up.
Yeah. Draw the rectangle.
We're on number 5, right?
Now, to make it into a prism, prism just means like a solid figure with the rectangle as a face.
Yeah.
All you do is draw 3 lines off the 3 corners that are parallel and equally long. And then you connect them.
I do it different.
That's the easiest way. You can do it differently. Some people do it differently and it looks just as good. And some people do it differently and you're like, huh? What is that? So, and trust me on this one, I've looked at a million papers that students have done over the years, and I know that this can look strange. So here's the problem. I have to put on my glasses. This is 2 meters, or 2m, same exact thing. This is 3 meters, or 3m, and this is 5m. Now yesterday we just did this with 2, 3, and 5. Exact same numbers, we asked you for the volume. Today I'm asking you for the volume, but I'm including the m's. Find the volume of that figure.
Oh.
End that game, Joe.
Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Michaels, what do you think?
35 m cubed.
30m cubed.
Oh, 30, oops.
Yeah, if I do 2m times 3m times 5m, what's 2 times 3? 6 times 5, 30, and then there's a little 1 on each of these. M to the 1 times m to the 1 times m to the 1 is m to the 3. Now, if we looked at it as an m, the answer would be 60 m to the third. If I looked at it as meters, I would say it's 60 meters cubed. Make sense?
Yes.
All right, let's turn the page, go to the next one up at the top. It says this time we have a cube. And that means that all the edges are the same size. Find the volume of this cube if an edge is 3 centimeters.
That's a very good cube, Mr. Lucas.
Thank you so much. I appreciate the boost to my self-esteem. I could skip the therapy session this week.
That's neat.
Okay, so if this is 3 centimeters and the volume is the length times the width times the height, I'm going to do 3 centimeters times 3 centimeters times 3 centimeters. What's 3 times 3?
9.
Times 3? And what's centimeters times centimeters times centimeters?
CM cubed.
Centimeters cubed or cm cubed. Good. Okay? One last question for you to handle for today. Finally, write an expression for the volume of a cube if an edge can be expressed as 3x cubed y. Monday morning. Jamie. All right, so did you notice how, since volume is length times width times height, and in a cube, all the sides are exactly the same?
Yeah.
Frankie? They're all 3 centimeters times 3 centimeters times 3 centimeters? So if I tell you 3 centimeters times 3 centimeters times 3 centimeters, couldn't I have just done 3 centimeters cubed?
Yeah.
Right, because that's cubed means write it 3 times. So this one, I could write 3 times, and if you did that, there's nothing wrong with it, it's very good. But I want to show you that you come up with the same answer if you had just cubed it. Now, remember, the tricky part is everything in the package gets cubed. Remember that from the Do It. What's 3 cubed?
9.
27.
27. 3 cubed is not 9. 3 cubed means 3 times 3 times 3. What's x cubed cubed? X to the 9. And there's really a 1 here. Remember, we multiply exponents when we raise a power to a power. What's y to the first to the third? Y to the?
Y cubed.
Y to the third. 1 times 3 is 3. And there is my expression. Expression means it's just the numbers and letters and so on and so forth. It happens to be a monomial of what the volume is equal to. Okay. You have a couple of minutes left if you want to start your homework. You're welcome to do so. Good night, Victor. What's that? Well, let's save it for Monday. Part of the whole homework thing is learning how to be responsible.
I know, but it's too easy.
Someone call me?
Yeah. What happened to the card? Remember the card you said you were gonna give us photocopies?
Yeah.
Thank you for reminding me. I have to make up a sheet and get it printed, and then I gotta give you the sheet.
Thank you. Michael.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Like, I've been wanting to do that forever, because it was like on the
Which you're very young to have a bucket list, but okay, and fishing's a good thing to have on your list.
So I just went and like we were there for like an hour and then I got to but all you see is distribute. So you see like
You're not really that in general.
Where were you?
we were at the Park Ferry. Oh, just a little snack.
Really?
And of course, my sister had one and it was like this big.
Okay.
But it was fine.
But you didn't get it.
And then after that, my sister got really worried. She's like, okay, I found the trap.
That's how real fishermen don't think like that.
I know.
Fake fishermen, that's how they do.
Oh, she's a little princess too.
Oh, is she?
Little princess. Where did it go? What she does to me is, my mom says that I something or like interrogate her.
Okay.
Or like, but what really she does is she